Hey guys, I'm Jasper and this is Undaunted Nomad. Welcome back to the next video. As you can see, we are not in the van right now. Miss Vegas. This is Miss Vegas. She's a sweet girl, and we are at the Jackson River Scenic Trail. Here's the river behind me. It's absolutely gorgeous, don't you think? And let me show you the other side. You get these like mountainy crag areas, and like the stone is like this beautiful layers. I think it's like, I don't know, I'm not a rock expert, but I think it's like shale or something similar. But this is our first trail that we've gone on this trip that I've at least recorded anyway. You guys can't blame me. I needed my first few to myself, you know, to recover from the toxic environment that I had gotten myself out of. But here we are. I think we've walked like 4 miles in at this point. Well worth it. Look at that. And we're not done. We just stopped at this here picnic table to record a video for you guys. Man, this is beautiful. And just the healing properties of nature. Like, no, nature's not gonna cure your autism or your depression or your ADHD or your anxiety, but it does cure one thing, and that is disconnection. That's what it cures. You guys really should, even if you don't live in a van, I highly recommend, you know, see what your local areas are around you. You know, go for a little short hike, maybe go camping, especially if you have a little doggy. Well, she's not too little, but she's a good girl, and don't mind her skin issues. She's had that all her life. We have her on like meds and stuff, but she's just allergic to everything. I mean, I don't know who her parents were or anything. She was given to me, so, you know. That's how it is with some dogs. You just get a dog and sometimes they have issues, but at least it's just skin issues and not something like hip dysplasia. And let me stop myself there, because dogs are another one of my very special interests, and if I don't stop myself, I'll talk about it for hours. Yeah, nature, guys. The sounds, the smells, the feel of nature. This is what I live for. This is what I choose to do with my life, you know? I'm not sitting in an office. I'm not suffering under a job that I don't like. I'm out here. And yes, I do have a job this summer. But you know what? It's a pretty good job. I'm really excited for it. And I do have permission to, on my days off, and of course, shoot some YouTube stuff. And it's going to be a really great area out there. So I'm excited to share that. It is March 1st as I'm recording this. So I'm not sure when this is going to be uploaded, just because, like, my first little while being out in the van, like, I just needed to be alone. I didn't want to record anything because I was emotionally a mess. I was having very runny number twos, probably because I was just shedding all that toxicity and all that. I was shaking the first couple of days getting out of that abusive environment, and it's like only now am I starting to really realize like how much I was making excuses for my dad. I was like, oh, you know, they were my adopted parents and they tried their best. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I can look back on a time when I was 12 years old and I had to go in for back surgery, and you know, I was in the ICU for a while, and then when they moved me to, you know, the regular hospital room, I remember my back hurt so bad, even with the medication, because I'm allergic to morphine, so they had to pretty much pump me full of Valium just to keep me from screaming. I wanted the TV remote, and I think I asked my mom for the TV remote, and my dad started screaming at me like, "Well, you lazy expletive, you know, why don't you ever do anything?" And it's like, I just had back surgery, dude. And like, even my mom was like, WTF, dude. And my mom was not, you know, she got better the last year of her life, but she was not a poster woman for good parenting either. And she was like, WTF. Because, like, they loved me, you know, but they were toxic. And it's like, that wasn't the only occurrence of that. I even remember a situation where, like, I went to the movies and I wanted my dad to, you know, my dad had to buy me the ticket because it was like an older movie, you know, R-rated or whatever. And, like, we got up to the ticket counter, and I was, like, still a teenager, and I was scared to talk to people because, you know, I had social anxiety because of all the bullying that I was going through in school. And he was making fun of me in public for being anxious, to the point where I had basically had a meltdown and demanded that I be taken home. Let's look at that nice river. Right. And it's like, yes, I remembered all this before. It's just like, when you're in that sort of toxic environment, you want to try to think of everything as positively as possible, because otherwise your mental, you just can't handle it mentally. But unfortunately, that also is what keeps people in those sorts of relationships that way also, is when they focus too much on the good. You know, occasionally they do need a wake-up call, like saying, hey, this is not right. And I was even talking to a friend of mine's mom right before I left Myrtle Beach, and I was telling her all this stuff, and, like, watching her face, like, all the, like, emotion she was going through hearing that, I'm like, maybe this isn't so normal. Maybe this is bad. It's like, logically I knew that in some way, but it's like my brain was also trying to convince myself that it wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be. But that's also because when I was a young, you know, person, like, I was depressed because of a lot of the bullying and stuff going on in school, and then my parents would scream at me saying that I'm lazy, I'm good for nothing, you know, and I'm never gonna make anything of myself, and, like, all this toxic shit. And maybe that's why I'm like this. Maybe these are things that I still need to unlearn. Again, we're on a journey here, guys. We're on a journey to self-discovery, and it's like finally dawning on me. Like, it's like I've always known this, but it's the awareness. You know, there's a difference between knowing something and being aware of it, if you know what I mean, especially when you've been in an abusive relationship, whether it be with a parent, a family member, a romantic partner. It's just how it is. And, like, these are things that I've only really recently opened up to other people about. And that's generally how things are going to go. I'm going to open up to other people first, and then I'm going to record stuff about it. And the only reason why I feel like I should record this and I should talk about this is because I don't know if there's anybody else out there who's going through this stuff and doesn't know what to do. Because they don't want to lose their home. They don't want to be without a roof over their head or without food to eat. And it is a difficult decision, but at the end of the day, like, whoever's out there, if you're in a bad situation, please leave. There are resources available to you. If you're in a romantic relationship, you can call the domestic violence hotline. If you are a child in an abusive situation with your parents, there is a separate number online for children in an abusive situation. I will link that down in the comments section, because I don't know if I could post links in the description yet. I think I had to go through, like, ID verification or somewhats. It'll be there. It's either going to be in the description or in the comments. I'm going to leave the domestic violence hotline for at least the United States and the website for being in an abusive situation with your parents. I'm running out of breath, guys. Let's look at this river again. It's like the sounds of this river are, like, washing away the stress. Like, these 3 years that I had been at my dad's house, like, all that compounding stress. I can't begin to explain the pain emotionally that I have been through. I can't begin to explain the hurt that I felt. The day that I left Myrtle Beach, my dad had gotten upset with me because I didn't do some minor stuff in the yard when I had been explaining to him for years at that point. Like, you can't scream at me and then expect me to go do like these small little things because I have only so many spoons. And I had to explain, I've explained to him spoon theory multiple times. I've tried to talk to him like an adult. I've tried to communicate with him. Because that's something I did have to learn, and I did, was how to communicate properly. It's just that it doesn't matter how good of a communicator you are. Abusers are not going to care. Abusers are going to gaslight you. Abusers are going to tell you it's your fault. They're going to make you feel like shit because you're reacting to a situation that is abusive. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay. You're not the problem. If you know logically, like, think to yourself, are you trying? It doesn't matter. Forget this, am I doing enough? Stop it. Stop it. Yes, you are. It doesn't matter. You are trying. You are doing your best. If you are in an abusive situation, the fact that you can do anything with your mental state being what it is, I don't care if you're autistic, non-autistic, if you have ADHD, if you have clinical depression or not. If you are in an abusive situation and you're able to manage day-to-day stuff, even with how miserable you are doing excellent. You are doing more than what should be even expected of you from an outside perspective. Your abuser's not going to make you feel that way, though. Your abuser's going to tell you you're not doing enough. I'm running out of breath again. I'm ranting a lot. But this is important. I feel like not enough people are talking about this. There's not enough people who have the strength or the patience or the courage to talk about this stuff. And that's okay too. You don't have to talk about it if you're not ready to talk about it. But what you do need to do is you need to find a way to ask for help. If you have a vehicle and you're in an abusive situation, I have a video about what you need to do, if you have to move into your vehicle out of necessity. Go back and watch that video, or go watch Bob Wells's video about that. It doesn't matter. What you need to do is get what you need to survive and get the hell out. If you don't have a vehicle, get a rolling luggage. Pack it up full of all your necessities, everything you can't live without, maybe a week's worth of clothing. Get your cell phone. If you have a laptop, take it. All of your identification papers. The only issue is that if you can't get something that's yours, like your identification papers, your birth certificate or anything, leave it behind for now. Get out. Get to a domestic violence shelter. Get somewhere, and then contact the police and say, hey, this person has my personal documents. Can you please help me get them? And they will have to do so. You may or may not need to jump through some legal loopholes or whatever, but your documents are your documents. The only way you're really going to have a huge issue with that, I think, is if you're underage. But I think if you're at least 16 years old and you at least have some sort of shelter or something behind you, you can always either get your documents back, or, you know what, worst case scenario, you have to go through the process of getting all brand new documents. Usually you can get a birth certificate online these days. Social Security card. You just, need somebody to give you a ride to Social Security Administration. You're going to have to answer some questions about yourself. ID cards and driver's licenses. Like, you do need several forms of ID. You're going to need your birth certificate. You're going to need your Social Security card. You're going to need a piece of mail. But these are things you can do. It's going to be hard. It's going to be what feels like an impossible task. For those of us with executive dysfunction, it's an impossible task. It's one of those things that is going to be very hard for you, but you need to understand it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to tell someone you can't do it anymore and that you need help getting out. Because I promise you, as hard as it is to leave that situation, I promise you everything is going to get better. Yes, you might have to sleep in a homeless shelter or on the street. Yes, you may have to sleep in a vehicle that's not nearly as nice as mine even. But you know what? At least you'll be able to exist peacefully compared to what you were doing. Like, yeah, as a homeless person, you might get harassed by the police about where you're sleeping. If you're sleeping in your car in the city because that's the only choice you have, you're probably going to get harassed. Or, you know, maybe you should ask, you know, don't necessarily park your vehicle right in front of the police station, but go in and ask them, hey, this is my situation. Is there a place nearby that I can sleep in my vehicle safely? Especially like ladies out there, you know, you should definitely ask for help. You know, yeah, cops have a lot of very toxic people, but, you know, when it comes to bad situations, there's enough of them that will treat you with respect that it's worth asking. And if they do treat you like assholes, oops, here we go cussing again. I'm never gonna get monetized this way. If they're treating you like jerks, you know, they're being jerks to you, try downloading iOverlander, or maybe talk to the soup kitchen or shelter in your area where you can park. Generally, homeless shelters may be kind enough to let you just sleep in your car in the parking lot, especially if they're at capacity. I know Cracker Barrel is generally a good spot. All you gotta do is just ask for permission. Truck stops are really good. When I was in Charleston doing like DoorDash, I would sleep at like the Pilot truck stop a lot. What I got on my nose? Is that like a pimple or is that ketchup? It doesn't matter. You know, not everybody has the greatest skin. I certainly don't have the best skin. It doesn't matter. That's a completely separate topic. But there are places that you can go, and I promise you, as hard as it's going to be infinitely better than being in an abusive situation. You know, and again, this is why I'm out here. This is therapy. Of course, I have the Hims and Hers app. If I ever need an actual therapist, I can pay the fee and talk to a therapist whenever I want, and I have done so in the past. It's also a great place if you need mental health medication. They like to prescribe escitalopram, also known as Lexapro. It works for like 80% of people. It's worth a try, you know, if you're without health insurance and you need something fairly affordable. It's like $150 every 3 months. You got to pay a yearly fee. This is just an option. Hi, Miss Vegas. Well, Miss Vegas is ready to start hiking again, so I know this has been kind of long-winded, and I know I'm talking a lot about myself, and I know I'm slipping in, you know, helpful tips in there. This is just what happens when an ADHD person is talking without a script. Again, this is unedited, unscripted, completely raw, completely honest van life content for you guys. Nature, me, my dog. You guys will see my cats in a later video. It's all gonna be good for me anyway. You guys don't have to worry about me anymore. I'm getting the healing that I need. And I'm kind of glad that I get to share this journey. I might start crying here. Jeez. I'm so glad that I got through my depression and I didn't make a choice that was a permanent choice. I'm glad, you know, I chose to continue. I chose to keep going so that I could share my story. So that I could possibly try to help other people. And that's what I dedicate my life to. I dedicate my life to my own healing. And I also want to help other people. I want to be the voice of reason, be the voice of helpfulness. And like I said, I really hope to, you know, January and February, you know, for the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, I want to meet Bob Wells and his little group of people and get involved in what they're doing with Homes on Wheels Alliance. Maybe they'll see this video before I even get there. Because I will say, Bob Wells is one of those people that encouraged me to change my life. And I want to show my appreciation for that. It's been a lot. And I'm sorry that I'm crying on camera. I really was not planning on this at all. I'm actually embarrassed to cry because that's what I've been taught as a child, is it's not okay to cry. There's some more information for you. More on my backstory. But I'm gonna be okay. I have you guys, and I have some really close friends online, and like I said, when I get to my destination, I have a friend right there who I get to hang out with. I'm gonna end up in a legal marijuana state, so I can use some more of that help. Weed is great. If you're not allergic to it and you don't have bad reactions to it, weed is a great plant. We should definitely legalize that more, even on a federal level, but that's a whole different topic. Here's my ADHD again. Squirrel! Oh, God. Again, I'm sorry for crying on camera, guys, and I hope you've at least enjoyed the background. I hope that what I've been saying is helpful to some people. I hope you guys are enjoying the content, and if you are, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. I'm not even monetized yet, but I tell you what, if you want to do something for me before I get monetized, go over to Homes on Wheels Alliance. They have a YouTube, they have a website and a Facebook page, and go make a donation to help elderly and the working poor who live in their vehicles. They help them with things like bed platforms, solar installs, power stations, stuff like that. Things to make their lives a little bit more comfortable, and I love that mission. Like I said, I was a Compassion Award receiver from Homes on Wheels Alliance myself a long time ago, because I needed to get back to Texas, and I'll talk about that story in a later video, but I think what they're doing is great. If you're not into that, then you know what, my favorite place in the world that I've never been to, Slab City, California, donate to their food bank or the Clean Needle Initiative. That's what I would like for you guys to do. If you want to do something for me, to support my journey, go make a donation, okay? And then, like I said, if you want me to get monetized, like, subscribe, share my videos, talk about it with other people. You know, but as far as finances, I think I'll be okay. Like I said, I got a job this summer. Here's my ADHD going off again. I am so sorry. This is unmedicated ADHD, guys. But you know what? I don't feel the need to. It's okay. I have people in my life who love me for who I am, and that's what matters. And I hope that you guys find that too. I hope you guys find some friends that really treat you as a human being and love you for who you are, accept you for who you are. And I think that's a great note to leave off on this beautiful, beautiful trail. It's actually a pretty easy trail if you guys are interested. The Jackson River Scenic Trail. It's somewhere Virginia. But you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.